You've been meaning to quit that job for 2 years now. It's not terrible. The pay is fine. The people are okay. You don't dread Monday exactly. It's just not right. You know it's not right, but it's not bad enough to actually do anything about it. So you stay. Another month, another year. And here's the disturbing part. If that job were worse, if it were genuinely miserable, you'd have quit a long time ago. You'd already be free. The only reason you're still stuck is that it's not bad enough to leave. That's not a personality flaw. It's a documented psychological trap. It has a name, and once you see it, you'll notice it running your entire life. It's called the region beta paradox. Here's how it was discovered. Psychologists were studying how people recover from bad experiences, and they found something that made no sense at first. People recovered faster from intensely painful events than from mildly painful ones. Read that again, because it's backwards from what you'd expect. A brutal breakup, people bounced back relatively quickly. A lukewarm relationship that slowly fizzled. People stayed stuck in the sadness far longer. A major crisis handled, processed, moved on. A low-grade, ongoing annoyance. It could drag on for years. The intense pain healed faster than the mild pain, and the reason is the key to everything. When something is bad enough, past a certain threshold, it triggers action. Your brain has defense systems, coping mechanisms, a whole psychological immune response. But those systems only switch on when the pain crosses a line. A devastating breakup crosses the line. Your mind goes to work. You grieve, you process, you rebuild, you move on. But a mildly bad relationship? It sits just below the line, not painful enough to trigger the response. So you don't grieve it, you don't process it, you don't leave, you just tolerate it indefinitely. The paradox is brutal in its simplicity. When a situation is bad enough, you escape it. When it's only kind of bad, you endure it forever. Which means the mildly bad situation, the tolerable one, can actually cost you more of your life than the terrible one ever would. Let me show you how deep this goes. There's a classic example. Imagine you need to get somewhere a mile away. If the walk is short, you walk, even though walking is slow. If the destination is far, you drive. But here's the trap. There's a specific distance, just far enough to be annoying to walk, but not quite far enough to justify getting the car, where people will walk the whole way and end up arriving later than if the trip had been longer and they'd driven. The shorter, more convenient trip takes more time than the longer one, because not bad enough never triggers the better decision. Now apply that to your entire life. The job, that's fine. The relationship, that's okay. The city you've been meaning to leave. The habit you keep saying you'll quit. The body you keep meaning to take care of. The dream you keep meaning to start. None of them are disasters, and that is exactly why they're so dangerous. If your job made you miserable, you'd leave. If your relationship were abusive, you'd get out. If your health collapsed, you'd change everything overnight, but because these things are merely not great, because they sit just below the threshold that triggers action, you do nothing for years, sometimes for a whole life. And here's the part that should genuinely scare you. There's a hospice nurse named Bronnie Ware who spent years with people in the last weeks of their lives. She recorded their most common regrets. The number one regret of the dying was this: I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Not, I wish I'd survived my disasters. Not, I wish my tragedies had been smaller. The biggest regret was all the tolerable things, the fine but not right job they never left, the comfortable but hollow life they never changed, the dreams that were never painful enough to force into reality. They didn't regret the storms. They regretted the lukewarm. That's the region beta paradox, playing out across an entire human life. So here's the uncomfortable question you have to ask yourself. What in your life is just bad enough to be wrong, but not bad enough to make you act? Because that thing, whatever it is quietly stealing years from you right now. And it's doing it in the most dangerous way possible, comfortably, slowly. Without alarm, the disasters in your life will take care of themselves. They force you to act. It's the mediocre that you have to hunt down on purpose. And this is where almost everybody fails, because escaping the region beta paradox requires doing something deeply unnatural. It requires acting on discomfort that isn't screaming at you. It requires treating "this is fine" as the alarm bell, instead of waiting for the crisis that gives you permission. Most people can't do that. Most people wait. They wait for the job to get bad enough, the relationship to get toxic enough, the health to get scary enough. They wait for a threshold that, for the tolerable things, never actually comes, and so they stay comfortable, stuck, until they're the person in the hospice bed listing the things they always meant to do. But you don't have to be that person, because you now know the one thing most people never figure out. You don't need permission from a crisis. You don't have to wait until it gets bad enough. The fact that something is merely wrong is already enough. That quiet, low-grade sense that something isn't right. That feeling you keep dismissing because it's not that bad. That feeling is the signal. It was always the signal. So look at your life honestly. Find the thing that's just tolerable enough to keep you trapped, and treat it's fine as the reason to move, not the reason to stay, because the situations that are bad enough will always release you eventually. It's the ones that are almost good enough that will hold you for the rest of your life. If you let them, most people will let them. The only question that matters is whether you will.